Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. I am going to show you how I created this cute Santa mug card using the Cocoa Wonderland die set from Spellbinders. I'm also using cardstocks from Cardstock Warehouse, and everything will be linked in the description box down below. So to begin, I did go ahead and die cut all of my pieces out. I made sure that I die cut all of the trees and ornaments that would go on top of the mug in all of the colors that I'm using so that I can mix and match as I was putting things together. I had a general color scheme that I wanted to go with, so I was unsure of how I wanted those all to be layered, so that's exactly why I went ahead and I die cut these out in all of the colors. But for the face and the mug and the hair, I did not do all of that. I knew what color I was using for the face, and then for the mug and the cream, I did die cut it out of metallic paper as well as some glitter paper, just so I could have white with various textures. So I started by adding on the eyebrows, the like smile eyes. I just used a black Flair pen to color those in, so I did not have to cut out any additional cardstock. And then I went in and added the eyebrows and the little cheeks on to the Santa face. Here I am just adding the face onto some cardstock, and this, if I'm not mistaken, is the glitter Inkjet cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. So I'm just adding that on, and because this is glitter paper, it did take a little bit more to stick. Once that was complete, I moved on to finishing up the face. And just as I did with the eyes, I did go in with a red Flair pen to color in the mouth. So again, I did not have to die cut any additional cardstock or use any other colors. I just went over those embossed lines, and that was simple enough for me. From here, I start layering up and creating the actual mug portion of the Santa. So his head is essentially the mug, but to bring it all together, I now need to add on like the top as well as the handle, or the rim rather, and the handle. So I'm using this beautiful fuchsia cardstock and some gold accents, and I popped those up using foam dots, and then for the handle I just used some wet glue and I just left it in place for a few seconds and we were good to go. So now is when things get a little bit more chaotic. Remember I said I die cut all those pieces out in all the colors so I could figure it out? Well, now I had to figure it out, and that made my desk a mess. But I wanted to make sure that I was not layering too many of the same color family items together, and that the top of this mug did not look too crowded. So I just took my time and I played around with the placement before I adhered anything to the mug. Here you see me taking things off, adding things. I knew I wanted a big tree, so I did go in and add all of the ornaments and the star to this Christmas tree. I was only going to use this one, but I have the ornaments in all of the colors, so I'm able to incorporate all of these die cut colors together onto one piece as well. So I just use my wax stick and that helps me place all of the pieces where I desire for them to be. Once that is complete, I move on to actually arranging the top of this mug, and I start by using the whipped cream as my base layer, just so I have something that kind of grounds all of the things that I'm adding. All the trees, they all have a base essentially. Again, I am using a mix of foam dots and wet glue to put things into place and make sure that I have the dimension that I desire. So don't be afraid to cut up these foam squares and add the dimension even in the tiniest places, because it can definitely make all the difference. I left space to ensure that the big tree had all of the room, and then I added on this little ornament that I created as well. Once those were in place and adhered, I did go ahead and adhere my mug to the front. So I kind of slid the hot cocoa, or the whipped cream, I'm sorry, to the back. And then I used my foam squares to pop up that ornament to kind of bring it more into the forefront. And that is what my center piece, or the Santa mug itself, looks like. The card base itself is very simple. I just used a piece of wood veneer cardstock and layered that onto more of that glitter paper. And there we have what my card front is looking like. For this sentiment, I did die cut this Hello sentiment in Mars Green, and this is from the Petite Blooms and Sentiments, from a holiday release from Spellbinders as well, and it is just an embossed sentiment that goes into the paper. So yeah, guys, that is all that I have. If you'd like a more detailed walkthrough via print, head over to my blog, or even the Cardstock Warehouse blog where this post is originally posted. But that is all that I have. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.